Welcome to Black Nouveau. This is our edition for February 22nd, 2017. I'm Joanne Williams. Milwaukee's musical ambassador to the world, Al Jarreau, left us much too early at only 76. We'll remember one of his last visits to his hometown. The state of Wisconsin is looking for a few good students for its summer affirmative action internship program, and it's a paying internship too. This Saturday, America's Black Holocaust Museum will hold its annual Founders Day event. It's a day for racial repair and reconciliation. James Causey will have that story. And we'll tell you where and how you can see the movie, I'm Not Your Negro. It's about author James Baldwin, and it's nominated for an Oscar for Best Documentary this Sunday. Warrine Wanzo is one of our community elders. She grew up in Bronzeville when Bronzeville was the place to be.
And one of the bosses from Texas, I think, came up, and they saw me working in the office, and they said, we don't want her up here anymore. We want her downstairs. She needs to be where she can meet the customer.
That job put Warrine Wanzo into the fashion world. That led to being a buyer for Harleys for many years. She retired and unretired to Torrance's House of Threads, where she shares her fashion knowledge. Originally from Mississippi, her family was with the first wave of blacks to Milwaukee, where at 6 years old, her family settled in
Bronzeville. That's where we moved to on Walnut Street. My aunt, at the time they had when families would come here, you lived together until you could get out on your own. And that's what happened. I moved on Walnut Street for years, lived upstairs over my uncle and aunt until my parents was able to branch out, on their own.
Bronzeville consisted of the neighborhood surrounding Walnut Street from 3rd Street to around 12th Street. It was the entertainment district for the black community. It was also where Milwaukee's African-Americans lived, worked, and raised their families. She remembers Bronzeville as being safe.
You could walk the street 4 o'clock in the morning, no one would bother you. It was different. People's was different. We didn't have what we have going on in the city of Milwaukee now, You could leave and go to church, leave your doors unlocked, your windows up, you come back, everything was there. No problem. It seemed like then it was just so much love, and if you could help someone, you help her family out, completely different. Nowadays, you're almost frightened to look at someone because you don't know what they're gonna do. It's just completely changed. It's like everybody, they're mad at the world. And it wasn't like that then. It was just love. And if you could help a family out, you would help one another out. Completely different.
Segregation was a key to the closeness and the problems.
Back then, they were all blacks was in the community. We all were together. And I think as we start to expand out, I think that's when it got more difficult because it was like all the blacks was like in one community. Then now later on, everybody started to spread out, and I think that's what happened, that I feel that they didn't want the blacks in their neighborhood, and I think after then that's how it exploded, the relation with one another, because we were all together back in those days.
Wanzo's memory lane of Bronzeville.
You would have seen OB Funeral Home, Williamson Frozen Custard, which was my uncle's restaurant, Larry's Frozen Custard at the time. There was a Haberdash across the street. There was a meat market. There was a place called Knox. Also, they would hang out there. And we'd go to the Riga Theater. And there was some taverns. I can't recall the names of them right now, but there was taverns. Everybody just hung on Walnut Street. That was their hangout.
Her working on Walnut Street gave her a unique view.
I started working in my aunt's restaurant when I was probably about 13 years old, making hamburgers and malts. And I got to meet everybody would come in from church, and it was exciting for me being that young to work around older peoples, at the time. And everybody hung out on Walnut Street. They would just park on Walnut Street and just sit there. It was like a parade, just everybody walking by. And people would really wait for someone literally to pull out so they could just park there to watch everybody, because it was just a hangout for everybody.
and appearances were important.
You didn't see people dressed in really the blue jeans that everybody wear nowadays, because that was like, I remember as a kid growing up when I was going to school, when I came home, blue jeans were my play clothes. So that means everybody really, dressed.
And especially on the weekends.
Really dressed up and go to church, everything matched from head to toe, the hat, the gloves. It was different. Everything had to match.
Working alongside Miss Wanzo, Emil Howard learned about Bronzeville.
It was a time where our first pioneers as Black, individuals have came to Milwaukee and established a dynasty to where the young business people can follow now, our first entrepreneurs, the struggles they made with racism just to start their own businesses in their own communities, which now today still stands. A lot of them still stand today. Leon's Funeral, Pitt's Funeral Home.
Prior to this, his knowledge of Bronzeville was non-existent.
See, I didn't know anything about it. That's just show how our history is, I should say. If it wasn't for our elders to let us know about things like that, we didn't get taught in school. Black History Month, they didn't teach us about Bronzeville, our own history. We had to learn American history and not our own history. So Ms. Wanzo taught me our own history that we didn't know about. And I think if a lot of young people, a lot of minority people knew about our struggle and where we came from, they'd have a lot more pride and a lot more pride in themselves and their community to make it a better place for us.
Warrine Wanzo's family eventually moved from the Bronzeville area.
My parents moved over on Richard Street. We rented from Ashley. Everybody probably remember Ashley's Barbecue. Then a house went up for sale. Then my parents purchased a home down the street, and it was just our Italian neighborhood.
The home still stands, but not the Italian neighborhood, nor Bronzeville.
The Summer Affirmative Action Internship Program is looking for students to work in state government for pay. Joining us are Bureau of Affirmative Action Director Jeanette Johnson and EEO Specialist Eric Barber. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
Jeanette, first of all, how many jobs are we talking about?
We have 137 positions right now available for students.
Are they all in Madison or Milwaukee? Where are they?
We have Madison, Milwaukee, and Waukesha.
What kind of skills do they need?
They can apply for our HR positions. We have HR positions, media positions. We have journalism positions. There's an array of positions. So they can go on our website and check out what we have available.
Eric, how difficult is it to get these internships?
It's not very difficult. If you have the skills and the background for some of the positions that we have available, it's simply a matter of going to our website, looking up the positions, and then applying to our web portal, which is WIS.jobs.
We talk about age ranges. Who is eligible?
As long as the individual is in a 2-year or 4-year institution currently enrolled, they're eligible. So non-traditional, traditional students, all are eligible.
You're talking about college age?
College age and then beyond. Our outreach is to people with disabilities, people of color, women, and veterans, so all ages.
What about high school students? Do they qualify?
High school students do not qualify at this time, but we do some outreach to high school students so that they can prepare themselves for when they go to college to look us up and apply to our internship program.
Jeanette, when people get these internships in government, they work in what departments?
Again, HR, we have our HR department. We have our, after HR, we have our, I'm trying to think of all of these. Natural resources for our biology. We have, again, journalism. So it's various departments that these students can apply for and get on-the-job training while they are doing their internship.
Now, internships sometimes don't have a lot of things for students to do, but these do, right? They're going to be busy.
Yeah. They will be working. They will be doing actual jobs. It's not sitting in the corner filing or doodling around. These are actual jobs.
What's the benefit to government to have these students working as interns during the summer?
the students alone, just having our students there working on positions, learning different stuff. These students are bright students. They bring us different kind of skills, so we enjoy what they bring to our workforce. So we love having them there, getting our jobs done for us, and just having them with us.
Eric, have you worked with some of these interns?
I have. I love interacting with them through we have a summer program where our kickoff. So our summer program kickoff is always great because I see a lot of the names that I've seen through the not the interview, but the application process come across. And so just to meet them and to, again, kind of get familiar and acquainted with them is always fun.
Now, they're learning about government, state government, right? Mm-hmm. What do you think you're learning from these interns?
We learn a lot. We learn that there's a lot of talent out there. And so again, the push for our program is to introduce students to state jobs, state government jobs, because a lot of times all they think that state government is about is, politics and bureaucrat red tape and so forth. And when they get involved, they see that they're actually accountants, HR, media, journalism, all types of jobs that are within the state. And so they learn that, there's more to state government than just what they see on TV sometimes.
So Jeanette, how do they apply for the jobs and what are the deadlines?
Well, the deadline for applying is March 7th. They can go to our website, wisjobs.com, and all of the information is there. They can go in and fill out their application and just apply for whatever positions that they see on our website.
And with 139 jobs, 137 jobs.
137.
You think you're going to fill them all?
Oh yeah. with all the students that apply, I'm pretty sure we'll fill them all.
All right. Well, thank you both very much for coming. There are jobs out there with the government, and we hope that we have some folks who apply. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
It was very frightening. The first, most traumatic experience was out at Stone Mountain at a lynching. And I was 3 years old. I just knew they weren't really going to hang him, but they did. Nobody stopped them. And I felt it so guilty even then for not saying anything, even as a child.
That's a clip from Always in Season, a documentary that looks at lynching in 4 American communities. It will be shown this Saturday as part of America's Black Holocaust Museum's Founders Day program. Joining us are Dr. Fran Kaplan, the Virtual Museums Coordinator, and Jordan Davis, Assistant Coordinator of Public Programming. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
So tell us what's going to happen at this event. What will take place first?
Well, so our annual Founders Day gathering for Racial Repair and Reconciliation. So the day will start with a talk by our head griot, Reggie Jackson, on Let's Face It, where he's going to be talking about the importance of truth-telling, remembrance, and then also the role of ABHM in memory work and how it works in both the city of Milwaukee and nationally to repair racial trauma.
Okay.
And then we'll see the film that you just showed a clip from. Mm-hmm. And there will be the director of the film with representatives of the communities that are shown in the film, plus other communities that are doing similar restorative practice work. We'll be on a panel, and the audience will get a chance to talk with those people about these projects all over the country.
Now, I'm sure this film is going to stir up all kinds of emotions. How do you deal with that, or what's going to take place? How do you deal with those emotions?
Well, part of it is the ability to have a talk back. So the people that are presenting from all over the country, they're descendants both of people who were victims of lynching and people who perpetrated lynching. And they have done reconciliation work. So they're going to be talking about how you manage those feelings and how that has gone for them and the different kinds of projects that they've done to help heal their communities.
Now, can we have a real discussion about race, or is that one of those things that America can never really wrap its hands around?
I think that you can. I think a lot depends on creating safe spaces to have those kind of discussions, and we hope that the museum, through our public programming, can create those kind of intimate kind of spaces where people feel free to talk about things that might be disturbing or that might be hurtful, because it's, I think one of the biggest problems is that there are not a lot of places to have those kind of discussions.
Now, the roundtable discussion is really interesting. You bring people from all walks of life together to have those discussions. What takes place when that happens, and what takes place after people leave?
Well, that's a really good question. Because of the limitations of space, the morning program is going to be open to the public. The afternoon program will be the roundtables. But we do these things throughout the year. We have venues, we have presentations where people can talk to each other, and we have a process that we use. You experienced it once.
Right.
That we use to help people talk about uncomfortable things in a way that's safe. That's the challenge, is how can you be both safe and approach tough topics at the same time, and we've developed a system for doing that. And in fact, those kind of processes are going on around the country in a kind of under-the-radar, grassroots truth and reconciliation process that we wanted to bring these folks to Milwaukee to share with us what they're doing in their communities so that we can make that available in an even more profound way in Milwaukee.
Now, you talked with me about when these conversations started. They didn't start with the election of the new president. They started before that. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, well, as I said to you, I think social media has made a big impact. I'm going to speak for white people. I think that white people have become more aware through social media and through the use of the camera phone of the kinds of racial terror that black people experience on a day-to-day basis.
Gotcha.
It's you know the difference. You're in television. You know the difference between show and tell.
Right.
And so showing is important, and now people have seen it.
So where can people go to get information on this real quick?
So you can go to abhmmuseum.org, and on there you'll find links to the Eventbrite page where you can purchase tickets, also books.
Great.
First time ever I kissed your lips, I felt the earth move in my hand, like the trembling heart of a captive bird that was there at my command, my love, that was there at my command.
Internationally known singer and Milwaukee native Al Jarreau has been singing and writing for over 40 years. He stayed in the business because he loves it and comes home to Milwaukee to rejuvenate. We caught up with him while in town to perform at Potawatomi.
You remember Wisco 99? I come home and get my gas tanks filled up.
So you're still in contact with folks here?
Yeah, I stay in serious contact with people here. And I was touched by folks over at Lincoln High School. We hail thee, fair Lincoln, our alma mater dear, and far within Wisconsin's prairies.
Still doing it.
I went, yeah, I'm a Comet, Lincoln High School Comet, which is Lincoln High School target school for the arts now.
He said a lot of who he is because of where he comes from. His musical journey, or as he calls it, his yellow brick road, also includes Ripon College up in Ripon, Wisconsin.
And at Ripon College, who put some ideas inside my head that ended up in songs like I can't beat what I want to, again all I need is to get my boogie down. You can be all you want to, and all you need is to get your boogie down. And I sing that for kids in grade schools and in kindergarten, and teachers teach them what the meaning of that is. I can be what I want to. You can be what you want to, and all you need is to get your together.
When you left the Midwest, you had a lot of talent to offer the entertainment, but you had a degree in your pocket. Why was that important?
Well, that's what I'm talking about right now. Get prepared. And the best thing that we can do, all of us, Center City and suburbs, is get our children prepared, get them into school. That's still the answer to saving the middle class, is getting to school. More and more important as we bring robotics and automation onto the scene, doing more to take our jobs than China.
His yellow brick road was not always easy. His college start was rough.
I had a difficult time in school, and I was coming home after my first semester at Ripon. I was flunking everything. I came home and started talking to Tom Cheeks, who had been my mentor, my teacher at school, and he held my hand and looked at me in the eyes and said, "Al, we don't quit. We don't quit. We carry on and find a way."
And that became his motto.
So I'm talking to me in the mirror every day, saying those things. We don't quit. We carry on. We find a way. I'm struggling these days. I got a few little health issues, but I ain't gonna quit. I'm going to sit on a stool out there tonight like I did all summer long and like I did all of last year, and bring this music to people and say, you don't have to quit. And this is the best I can do here on the stool. I'm going to get up and shake it for a minute, but most of the time I'll be sitting down here. Yeah, how you like me now? You okay, Ma?
His latest album is a tribute to fellow musician George Duke.
George was you could hear George sing like Philip Bailey on Soul Train in one moment, and then hear him on records that he did with Billy Cobham and John McLaughlin, and playing fusion music, playing bebop like that, fusion music, bebop and R&B and pop. And then in the next moment, George was on stage with George Clinton. What are you talking about? And Funkadelics.
And you can tell everybody that this is your song. Yes, all the words may be quite simple, but now that it's done, oh, I hope you don't mind. I hope you don't mind that I put down in words how wonderful life is when you're in the world. Oh, yes, girl.
I do this because I I don't have any choice. I was spoken to sitting at my mother's hip side as she played for the church. I've been singing since I was 4 years old. I was spoken to. This is what I love to do. I love writing the music and singing it with people and feeling our hearts do better. It's cardiology. And people walk away and I walk away feeling a little bit better. And that, you know, that's the mission.
When your smile gets much too discreet, that will send me on my way.
I Am Not Your Negro is a documentary about author and civil rights activist James Baldwin. The Oscar-nominated film will have a free screening here in Milwaukee on February 27th at the Oriental Theater. Dr. Ramel Smith is part of the group that's bringing us this movie. Welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Now, who else is in the group bringing the film to Milwaukee?
DNS Healing Group, Precious Lives, and the Alma Center.
What's the purpose of bringing this movie here?
Well, what we want to talk about is what the great James Baldwin talked about a few decades ago. He said, I am not your Negro, talking about transgenerational trauma. What can we do to show the people that we should be accepted as one? How do we reclaim our independence back again?
Now, there's more than just the movie, right? You have a whole event going on.
Yes. The movie's at the Oriental, which is on Farwell, and then so we'll have a pre-screening at Collectivo on Prospect from 6 to 6:45, and then immediately following the movie, we're going to have a panel discussion with Ken Little, former National Urban League president, Dr. Rogers Onig, famous principal in Milwaukee Public School, Charlene Moore from Urban Underground, and a young student to be named at Collectivo right immediately following the movie.
Is this free?
We have 50 free tickets, so for the first 50 people who come down to the pre-shop, they can get in. If not, they will have to pre-purchase the tickets at the Oriental.
That's on February 27th at the Oriental?
The movie starts at 7 p.m.
All right, great. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
And that's our program for this week. For Black Nouveau, I'm Joanne Williams, reminding you to do something every day that celebrates our history.